forced to get there.
It wasn't by choice.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice. And we was on the same radio station, and Groove did kind of like the nighttime show, and I did the daytime show. We were the only kind of people that knew anything about house music. So, cut a long story short, the guy that was running it, running the station, he had a little club, a little kind of after hours club. And on a Wednesday night, he phoned me up and he was kind of like, look, you know, we're going to do a night. We want you to come down and play some house music. So I was like, what, on a Wednesday? Because, you know, Wednesday was never a club night. Even now it ain't. And it was like, we want you to play, I want you to play house. You got house music? And I was like, yeah, I got house. He went, yeah. He went, I want you to come down and play it. And I'm going to bring Grooverider down as well. So I said, yeah, all right, whatever. But he said that people don't get there till late.
Yeah.
So me and Groove went down there, and we were basically playing to nobody for about 3 o'clock. And Groove had to go work, so he went to me, Fab, you know what, I've got to go work. I'm getting out of here. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. There was not one person in there. So Groove went, yeah, I'm going. So we loaded, he went, I'll give you a lift back. We didn't really know each other. And I said, I live down the road, it's cool. And as we was putting the records in the car, we saw a couple of people coming down the alleyway, going, you know, is there any music here? So Groove went, come on, might as well go back here and just play for an hour. And then the guy that was running it, he was kind of like, you lot got to play because they're going to buy drinks. So we were like, yeah, all right.
You have to remember, this wasn't a normal club. This was somebody's sort of basement.
Yeah, no, for real.
It wasn't a normal club with licensing rules or anything. It was a club where it was a shubeen, basically. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So like
it was a proper after hours illegal spot.
Yeah.
And so it was ideal for people to come down and do whatever they wanted to do. So anyway, we were playing, and literally there was 2 people in there. We were playing, and then about an hour later, the whole club was packed. And then we decided to do, you know, the guy that was running it was so happy. He was like, look, can you do the weekends as well? And turn it into kind of like an acid house thing. So we took over the whole thing, and you know, got flyers done. Went out, Groove bought a car. he went out, bought a car, and then we was just driving around. And that's what we was doing. We used to give out flyers in the West End, and word of mouth, and we used to have it around. And don't get me wrong, it weren't hard to have it.
No, it was only about 60 people.
67 people, but it was people that were coming down from Shum. So we had all the big players at the time. They used to come down to Brixton, to this little spot, to hear us play. And I think, you know, I think a couple of the guys from big raves and stuff like that started to come down and hear us and started booking us and stuff. And so that's how it kind of started, man.
As I was just trying to find a route not to do a day job. And you know, till this day, I still got that mentality, like, next year I'm gonna go back to work, next year I'm gonna go back to work. I've been like that for the last 28 years. You know what I'm saying? But you still have that in the back of your head, like, you work as hard as you can so you can avoid that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because this is hard,
for real,
but not as hard as that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'd rather have this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, no, nobody can predict the future. No, I didn't realise I was going to be here for so long doing what I'm doing. You know, as I said, every year I always thought, next year I'm going to have to get a job. But fortunately, it's not turned out like that.
We really did start from the bottom, like from the very bottom. Like we started like
we coming from where there wasn't rain.
Exactly. We started off not really getting paid for gigs. You know, getting £35 for like energy and sunrise and biology. Places with 30, 40. We didn't care. We really did do it because we wanted to play music. That was all we wanted to do. We wanted to play music. Whether it was before acid house, when it was hip hop or whatever, we just wanted to play tunes. And even now, you know, me and Groove are very kind of grounded in old school kind of like ethics.
Yeah.
You know, we've got certain ways of doing things, and that's why me and Groove, we don't really clash, because we know our boundaries. We know there's a line you never step over. As a partnership, you just don't. There's certain things that we just don't do.
No.
We don't even have to say nothing. I don't need to say nothing to Groove.
It's a code, man.
It's a code. You just don't do certain things, and you know that has really helped us.
Yeah, man.
The way we are, the way we've lasted so long. You know, there's a lot of things being old school that's not changed, because you know there's certain things about playing music and We've got a way of doing things.
You know, the way to break these down is we're kind of music snobs.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, I know Fabio thinks exactly the same as me on this. We're going to a club, hearing the people play tunes and whatever. We're trying not to play those tunes, regardless of how popular those tunes are. If we're playing sets together, he's not going to play a tune and I'm going to play it as well. You know, there's rules, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like it's like when you play a tune, two tunes of the same artist back to back. That's not, you don't do that. In our world, music snobbery, you don't do that.
You don't do it.
You know what I'm saying? There's things that you don't do. There's certain things that you do and don't do, and
that's comes from years. That's not just happened overnight.
Yeah, man,
when we started out playing, we've never played. We don't even like playing more than 2 tunes from one artist in a set.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You know what I mean? When we walk into a club, as Groove said, I'll listen to that person. I'll try and avoid. I'll try and come up with something different, or avoid playing. I've never gone into a club ever and played a tune that I've heard a DJ play ever. It's never happened. Never. Me and Groove.
Knowingly, anyway. Like,
not knowingly. Yes, maybe subconsciously sometimes. And you play it halfway through, you think, oh no, you know what? When I come in, the guy was playing that, but it never. And you'll beat yourself up over that. You know, me and Groove are also, you know, no matter what we do, I still, when I get in, sometimes I can't sleep. Because I sit down and think, oh, you know what, I could have done that different, I could have done this a little bit different. And it's always been the same. No matter how good people say that you've played, I know that I could have made it better. I could have been a little bit better. And those kind of things, the day I stop feeling like that, I know I don't really care anymore. Because that's caring. That's because you care about it so much that, you know, the other night at the Drum and Bass Awards, I'm just starting playing USBs, and I've got this thing with the USBs. I would take out one of them at the wrong time, or something happens with the USBs, and you know, it's a little thing, and maybe, you know, no one doesn't notice, but it will kill you. You know, you will go, I couldn't sleep, because you'll sit down and think, why did that happen, man? Do you know what I'm saying?
Or were they taping?
Yeah, yeah, were they taping that?
We were house music.
Yeah.
We brought it into this country. Do you know what I mean? We were acid house. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you, like, a thing I always remember, like, when I was playing house music, is playing in Great Yarmouth, and Pete Tong come on after me. Never seen Pete Tong, heard about him, but them times Pete Tong was playing like Bell Biv DeVoe and Bobby Brown and R&B and that. So you can tell that the years that we were playing house music before anybody else in this country, because Pete Tong is a big house DJ. For real. Massive.
And he weren't playing house.
He weren't playing house then. He was playing R&B, looking at me like I was a madman. I saw the expect Judge Jules as well. He was playing like Red Groove and all that. Looking at me like I was a madman when I was playing acid.
Yeah.
Look, these people are like eating from me now. I want some of that cash.
Yeah, what's that Judge Jules money, man?
Yeah, I want some of that.
But it's true, because
they used to look at us like we were mad.
Yeah, even there's certain people that are spoken about like gods, and I know we were playing house music before.
Way before them.
Way before them. And I'm not going to mention no names. Bobby and Steve.
No, you should.
Bobby and Steve.
It's alright.
Yeah, but you know, we were playing house music before these guys, and trust me, no one can't tell me nothing, because that's the God honest truth. And we know that because when we were playing house music, you knew who was playing house music. You knew all the DJs that were playing it. Because we used to go black market, and certain DJs used to come in and still get funk and stuff like that. And we were like, nah man,
good luck to you.
You good luck to you, we've moved on. And you know, that's how I know that we were one of the first. You know, don't get me wrong, there was Paul Oakenfold. He was kind of doing a slightly different thing.
Yeah, he was with lyrics in it.
With lyrics and stuff like that. But I remember when we used to get I remember Nicky Holloway saying to me, why do you and Groove play tracks with no vocals? He was like, you know, you don't play songs. And I was like, yeah, I know, we just play rhythm tracks. And he was kind of like, yeah, well, that's not really, you know, you might have to change that. And I was thinking, well, why? Like, why do we have to change that? And you know, and house guys used to hate on us because we never used to play house music like no one else. We never, you know, me and Groove used to deliberately play a different mix from everyone else. You know, Groove used to phone me up. They used to do 5 mixes on a tune. I've got to explain this to people. When you used to get a house tune, there used to be like 3 mixes on one side. Club mix, dub mix, extended dub, and all these kind of things. And me and Groove, for some reason, always used to find.
You never used to listen to the A side anyway.
And we never used to listen to the A side. We used to listen to the B side. And Groove used to ring me up sometimes and go, Fab, like, have you heard blah 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 too? Because that's another thing, we've never mixed. We don't go out record shopping together and go, yeah, let's buy the same tune. We've never done that. Groove will go out record shopping and he'll phone me up. And we've got this kind of like, he'll be like, yeah, we've got this tune. Or he won't tell me and I'll go out and he knows I'm going to come up to him and go, Groove, what's this thing here? You know what I mean? But it was wicked because it's not competitive, but it just gives us a little edge. It gives us a little edge because we don't, even up to this day, I don't know what Groove gets. I don't know where he gets his stuff from. But if I did need to know, Groove would tell me.
Exactly.
But I'm not just going to go up to Groove and start going, yeah, so what was that tune you played there? But every now and again I'll do it because, you know, there's a tune that really hits you and Groove's the same with me.
Yeah.
We don't cross our paths like that. We don't sit around planning stuff and sit, oh yeah, Groove, what are you going to play? I've never done that.
No need, man. There's too much music.
There's too much music about.
I was like, I lost my job because of like playing in dozes and falling asleep on the toilets and all that. So like, I was up to a few little dodgy things and all that. And what happened is like I got arrested, right? In the same week we were supposed to start at Rage. We were going for like a test.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I got arrested and I was thinking to myself, you know what an idiot. You know, I've got a chance to play at this major club upstairs, like in the no man's room, no name room, but I had a chance. I was thinking, I've lost my chance, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Fortunately, I got off with what I was supposed to be getting charged with, even though I was guilty. But it wasn't nothing major anyway, but I got out and I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to change this shit here, I'm going to have to change everything around. So we got the audition at Heaven, and we were playing upstairs, and we done alright. You know, a lot of people checked us out, and you know, we done alright, man. We kind of smashed it. And Kevin Millions come up and said, yeah, he wanted us back the next week. So I thought, yeah, alright, then we'll give this a shout. How long were we playing up there for?
I don't know.
We played upstairs for like, I don't know, about 8 months or something.
6 months. It was about 6 months.
And we were taking the crowd from downstairs, and they were all coming upstairs, so leaving the main dance floor empty. So, you know, the person that was running the night could see that and said to us, you know what, we need to swap these DJs. Which the DJs on the main floor weren't too happy about.
Yeah.
Because as you well know, it's a very competitive game, but back then there was a lot of bitchiness going on.
Yeah, of course.
And we would like, you know, colour's not an issue now, but back then it was. So like 2 black DJs playing acid house music wasn't seen then, it was like a novelty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For real, man.
And yeah, you know, we opened the door for a lot of people, man. A lot of, you know, that barrier that was there, we broke that down. Do you know what I'm saying? We opened the door for a lot of, you know, black people, you know, everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? We just smashed it all down because around about that time the hooliganism thing was coming to an end.
Yeah, it's true.
Ecstasy was taking place.
For real.
And everybody was in love with everybody. You know? They were fighting on the stands and they're going to clubs together. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hugging and loving.
Yeah. It was a kind
of like, there's a lot of things that broke down in that era, in the late 80s. Do you know what I'm saying?
People don't realise that, you know, it broke down a lot of racial barriers. You know, for the first time, you've got to remember, when we used to go out, right, and we used to go to funk clubs back in the day, it used to be the black guys that used to dance. White guys never used to dance. They used to just stand around the corner and the black guys used to just dance around in the middle. And for the first time we used to see white people dancing. I was like, what's these people can bust some moves?
It's kind of different.
It was a bit different.
There's that one, there's that
one. We really have got the whole of drum and bass kind of summed up, because it's, you know, all music's light and dark, you know what I'm saying, and we were the first to kind of embrace that. Groove was always more kind of like, you know, like a more digital kind of sound, and you know, I went down the kind of jazzy route, but we got the whole thing covered, because at the time really it was speed and metalheads. And those were the kind of cutting edge places that were happening, and Mean Groove was in control of that. And you know, that's the great thing, you know, Mean Groove have always been in control of certain parts of this music. And we've, you know, not invented it, but we brought it to the table. Because I remember when Groove first played me, I think Nico U-Turn did a track with Ed Rush or something. And that just changed the game. I heard that track, it was, no, was it T-Power?
T-Power did that thing.
Mutant Jazz. When I first heard that, when I first heard Mutant Jazz, Groove went to me, this is going to change everything. Everything's changing from now. Then Kilimanjaro came out, and it was the first time I've ever heard anything like that. It was a different take on jungle. It left all the kind of reggae. This was just new music, new breaks. People were just making this music. Took the Reese to another level, and it was just incredible because people then stopped using samples, and this music was still going. So it was like, yeah, man. You know, people forget as well. You know, we were really heavily involved with bringing techno to the party as well. We were playing techno before any of those guys. You know, we were playing techno just before jungle happened. You know, like we were playing all R&S stuff. We were discovering stuff from Germany, from Belgium. So, you know, one day it would be nice to, you know, across the board have a party that maybe was more suitable for our house roots. And, you know, even to have Carl or one of those guys, you know, we're going to try and embrace the whole thing. Because, you know, Fabio Grooverider, as much as drum and bass and jungle is our mainstay, you know, we can't forget, you know, if it weren't for techno and some of those sounds, there wouldn't be no drum and bass anyway. Exactly. People forget about all that. Exactly. And, you know, we was playing Joey Beltram and we was getting all the...
People will never put the link of house music and drum together, but...
They will never, but it's
house music,
they won't be
having this conversation today.
And I tell people when they say, oh, I hate house music, and they always end up liking it for a start. And secondly, they don't see the connection. But, you know, we connected those dots, man, you know, and house music is... Nothing would be going on. Everyone would be sitting around listening to One Direction if it weren't for house music. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's everything, and that's why we've got to give our love back to that, and people need to remember how important it was. Because when you're talking about Avicii and all them bands now, that ain't house music. Well, one, it ain't house music, and two, all of those guys, they need to kind of show us a little bit of love.
And 10%.
Yeah, we're coming to the later. Remember our event, 25 years with Fabio Grooverider at the Forum in Kentish Town in April, May.
Got the most insane lineup London scene this year, without a doubt, featuring DJs such as Matrix and Future Band, Simon Bassline Smith,
Randall, Jumping Jack Frost, DJ Die, SS, Kenny Ken.
We're going to do that and flip it. Norman J, MBE, Hatcher,
Matt Gemini, Booker T.
Just to name a few, and also we've got 3 very, very special guests. We're going to tell you in the last week who they are.
And don't forget the after party starts at 5 AM at Industry in Tottenham.
Which is going to be like 12 hours of Fabio and Grooverider plus guests. It's going to be sick.
First release tickets are absolutely sold out.
Second release are out there now. Pick them up fast because you don't have to buy a third release ticket. It's going to cost you too much dough. For more information, go and check us out, fabioandgroove.com.
Come and celebrate our 25 years in the game.
Yeah!